Can someone become incredibly rich and still avoid flaunting it even a little? Right now, I would like you to get to know Chow Yun-fat, an actor who ranks among the highest paid in the industry ever, with close to $3 billion tied to his name. Still, he never displays his riches the way so many other famous people tend to do. This individual does not possess a single private plane and gets by each month on roughly €200. So what explains his choice to live this way? How does he direct his enormous earnings? And what heartbreaking loss did he suffer that continues to weigh on his heart? The explanation behind his habits is likely to move you deeply. So settle in with a snack and let us explore his journey together. His beginnings and early years. Chow Yun-fat entered the world on May 18, 1955, on Lamma Island in Hong Kong. He is a Chinese actor raised in Hong Kong who rose to prominence during the 1980s as one of the most beloved leading men in Asian movies, particularly recognized for his work in action pictures. In 1995, the Los Angeles Times went so far as to call him the coolest actor on the planet. Chow spent his youth in a family that had almost nothing, without access to electricity, earning their living through farming. Life as a child was plain and lacked much excitement. Every morning, he rose early to tend to the livestock, and then assisted his mother by selling herbal jelly and Hakati pudding at the local market before hurrying to classes. Once school ended, there was no chance for games because more chores waited immediately. His daily routine resembled that of countless other youngsters in similar circumstances. Everything shifted in 1968 when the family relocated to the main part of Hong Kong in search of better opportunities. City expenses proved steep, and Chow's household often found it hard to cover even basic needs. At times they could not manage the rent for a tiny room. When he reached 17, Chow quit his studies to support his parents financially. Did he ever manage to return to education later on? If that interests you, stay with the story. Now let us return to the difficulties he faced after leaving school. During the following year, he took on whatever work he could find, such as cleaning duties, selling cameras, driving taxis, waiting tables, and delivering packages. None of those positions suited him particularly well. Then one day, his luck finally changed. What exactly took place? Keep following along to find out. How his career started. In 1973, at the age of 18, the television network TVB put out a call for actors, both experienced and inexperienced. Chow noticed the advertisement and chose to try his chances. Although he had never received any formal acting instruction, he impressed the casting team and, to his surprise, secured a contract. The initial part was minor yet paid decently. Soon afterward, he resolved to enroll in proper acting classes. By 1976, he stepped onto the big screen for the first time after signing an exclusive deal with Gold Dig Films, which at that point ranked as the third biggest film studio in Hong Kong. The move turned him into a recognizable face on television dramas. Chow kept appearing in different television productions to sharpen his abilities. His growing popularity on the small screen distinguished him and gradually opened doors to cinema work. One of his earliest widely praised movies came in 1981 with the story of Wu Viet, in which he portrayed a Vietnamese refugee fighting to reach America. He went on to claim a Golden Horse Award, Taiwan's version of the Oscar, for Best Actor in the touching 1984 war drama Hong Kong 1941. As his path unfolded, another major opportunity arrived that would transform his future completely. He no longer needed to hunt endlessly for roles. Though his early television years mostly involved small supporting parts in shows that did not draw large audiences, Chow remained hopeful and always pictured himself as a major film star one day. That vision became reality in 1986 when he landed the lead in John Woo's A Better Tomorrow, which turned into a massive success. The picture elevated Chow to box office dominance across Asia. It sparked a string of collaborations with Wu that continued with A Better Tomorrow 2 in 1987, The Killer in 1989, Once a Thief in 1991, and Hardboiled in 1992. He also partnered with the emerging director Ringo Lam on projects such as Prison on Fire and City on Fire, cementing his status as a true superstar. Audiences began to regard him as an exceptionally gifted performer from Asia. Yet even greater accomplishments awaited him on the global stage and in Hollywood. How did he achieve such widespread recognition and triumph? Stay tuned and we will get there. His rise on the international scene. Once John Woo and several other prominent figures from Asian cinema moved to Hollywood during the 1990s, Chow chose to follow their example. He completed the Chinese production Peace Hotel in 1995 and then relocated to the United States that same year. After dedicating 2 years to improving his English and refining his craft, he made his American film debut in 1998 with The Replacement Killers, directed by Antoine Fuqua, taking on the part of a hired killer who refuses a job and consequently becomes hunted himself. Soon after, he appeared opposite Jodie Foster in the elegant historical drama Anna and the King, portraying the monarch in a story drawn from the well-known Broadway musical The King and I, earning warm praise from audiences and reviewers alike. If you have watched the 2000 masterpiece Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you already know how impressive his portrayal of the warrior Li Mu Bai was in that martial arts epic. Chow shared the screen with martial arts legend Michelle Yeoh in the critically celebrated picture directed by An Lee. The movie took the top honor at the Toronto Film Festival and enjoyed enthusiastic reception in numerous Asian and European markets before its December release in the United States amid tremendous excitement. It ultimately secured 4 Academy Awards, including Best Foreign Language Film, from an astonishing 10 nominations that even included Best Picture. His work in the fantasy-adventure Bulletproof, Monk, also won favorable notice. One more standout role came when Chow played the pirate Captain Sa Fong in Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End. Many viewers assume he must have trained extensively in martial arts at some point, yet Chow Yun-fat has never taken a single formal lesson. The contrast is striking. Even though he became famous for executing spectacular fight sequences, he never underwent actual martial arts training, which only highlights his remarkable natural ability. In an interview with Metro, he admitted depending heavily on stunt coordinators and clarified that he is not nearly as physically gifted as people imagine. He said plainly, "I am not like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan," dispelling the common misconception. Still, the demanding work behind those polished scenes brought real risks for Chow. On one occasion, he required hospital treatment after fellow actor Kenny Wong accidentally struck him on the forehead. During the filming of Hard Boiled's climactic sequence in 1992, he almost set himself ablaze. All the same, his professional path has been extraordinarily accomplished. He has taken part in more than 100 movies over the decades, gaining widespread respect. By 2014, he ranked as the second highest paid actor in Hong Kong, and today his net worth is estimated around $750 million. Recall that he left school at 17 and never formally continued his education, yet he still received a doctorate. How did that come about? In September 2021, nearly 50 years after quitting his studies, Hong Kong Baptist University granted him an honorary doctorate in recognition of his exceptional contributions to society and the arts. His influence on entertainment has brought both celebrity and substantial wealth. For someone who started with so little, what kind of daily life might we picture? Let us look at how he actually chooses to live, his way of living and guiding beliefs. Although he could dine at the planet's most exclusive restaurants whenever he wished, people regularly spot him enjoying meals from ordinary street vendors. And yes, he does have a wife. Do not worry, we will cover his marriage soon, and I strongly suggest you stay for that section because it sheds real light on his modest habits. Make yourself comfortable and continue with the story. His spouse, Jasmine Tan, has affirmed that Chow maintains a level of simplicity comparable to Warren Buffett. He frequently eats at local food stalls in Hong Kong and rarely buys new clothes or gadgets. She mentioned that he kept using the same Nokia flip phone for 17 years and only upgraded to a smartphone once the old device finally failed. According to The Guardian, he has even been observed waiting in line to purchase tickets for his own films. Once he collected flashy classic cars, a typical indulgence for film stars, but the now 69-year-old reportedly sold every one, remarking with humor, "I'm already an antique myself, so why do I need to drive a vintage car? I'm breaking down every other minute myself already." His fame and fortune never altered his everyday choices. While other well-known performers such as Jackie Chan drive Lamborghinis, Chow happily relies on buses and trains. That is why fans often run into him, affectionately called Brother Fat, on the subway, where he is always willing to pose for pictures. On top of his acting gifts, he turns out to be quite skilled behind the camera. His photography talent gained attention in 1997 when his sister secretly entered 3 of his images in a Hong Kong gallery contest under a false name. Chow was stunned to discover one of them had taken 3rd place. In 2008, he published his first collection of photographs, many captured on his movie sets, and directed all proceeds toward victims of the Sichuan earthquake. The luxury brand Louis Vuitton handled publication and distribution in Paris and Hong Kong. We will touch on his charitable efforts more shortly, but this example shows how much he genuinely enjoys snapping photos with ordinary people, even while riding public transport. When questioned about preferring the train to a private car and driver, he replied, "I think some people believe that just because you were born here, when you have money, you need to move up to the next level and own whatever material goods people at that level are supposed to have. The minute you don't do that, you are considered strange." Speaking with the calm perspective of a practicing Buddhist, he continued that trains let him move quickly between places while others waste hours stuck in traffic chasing status symbols. He simply values practicality, ease, and comfort. To put his choices in perspective, consider Hong Kong itself, a city famous for extravagant shows of wealth, one of the costliest places on earth, with a stark divide between rich and poor that exceeds levels seen in Singapore or the United States. More of the world's ultra-wealthy now reside there than in New York. For such a successful performer living in that environment, what thoughts guide him? When asked directly, Chow explained his preference for simplicity. If you can make someone happy, it is considered a blessing to yourself, too. There are many unhappy things in this world, and if you can make someone happy for just that short moment, then it's like being a Boy Scout and doing a good deed. He also avoids designer clothing unless an event strictly requires it, such as a red carpet appearance. Otherwise, he wears inexpensive items bought from second-hand shops, and his everyday sandals cost less than $15. Whenever anyone questions his style, his answer stays consistent. He dresses only for his own comfort, not to impress anyone else. He stays active through jogging and hiking. Even at 69, Chow keeps himself fit with regular runs and mountain walks. In a promotional clip for his recent film One More Chance, he described how running has enriched his life, not just physically but mentally. He explained that daily jogging taught him persistence. At first the routine felt dull, yet he came to see its benefits for body, mind, and overall health, so he stuck with it. He has maintained the habit for the past 7 years. In a fresh interview, he revealed that he spends only about $200 each month. For a man with billions, that figure seems almost impossible, yet he truly lives that modestly. To him, genuine joy does not come from possessions or cash, but from cultivating a calm and positive outlook. He has said the hardest part of life is not earning money but preserving inner peace. Spending meaningful time with those he cares about matters far more than any amount of wealth. What experience shaped this outlook so deeply? Stay with us. His private world and the sorrow he carries. Things were not always this way for him. Chow endured a profound loss that reshaped his entire view of life and taught him to treasure simple moments. As a rising young star, he naturally drew plenty of romantic interest, but he did not meet Jasmine immediately. His first serious relationship was with actress Candy Yu. Their passionate but turbulent romance ended once, yet after 5 years apart they reconciled and married, only for the marriage to last just 9 months. In 1976, Chow began dating another beautiful actress, Heidi Chan. After 5 years together, they parted ways, largely because his mother strongly disapproved of Heidi, and Chow refused to go against his mother's wishes. That experience left him disillusioned about love and doubtful he would ever find lasting happiness. Then, in 1986, he met Jasmine Tan, a woman from a prosperous Singapore family who would become his lifelong partner. At the time, Chow had not yet reached major fame. They fell deeply in love and supported each other through numerous difficulties. Both dreamed of building a large family. Tragedy arrived in 1991 when their daughter, carried full term, was born still after the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck. Chow worked through his grief relatively quickly, believing that both parents collapsing under sorrow would help no one. For Jasmine, however, recovery took 7 long years. Throughout that period, he gently urged her to stay active, to hike and exercise as a way to heal and move forward. He has described himself as naturally optimistic, saying nothing truly rattles him. He showed the same resilience after losing his mother. The very day after her funeral, he was seen shopping for groceries in Kowloon, having just returned from a hike with celebrity friends including Michelle Yim, Liu Kai-chi and Michael Mio. Despite professional and financial triumph, the absence of children left him feeling something essential was missing. Following the loss of their daughter, Chow and Jasmine decided against trying for more children and instead channeled their energy into helping others. Jasmine's subsequent health complications also made further pregnancies impossible. Since that heartbreaking event, Chow has never viewed life quite the same way. He came to understand that real fulfillment lies in cherishing loved ones rather than accumulating material things. His devotion to Jasmine remained steadfast. Over time, they let go of the dream of a big household and simply focused on enjoying one another's company. To what else did he dedicate himself? Let us see. His giving spirit and lasting impact. Unable to have children of his own, Chow concluded that his purpose lay in a different direction. Together with Jasmine, he established a charitable foundation aimed at easing hardship and tackling social injustice. His own childhood spent in poverty almost certainly fueled this commitment to assist those in need. He aspires to create meaningful positive change in the world and in individual lives. With no heirs, Chow has chosen to direct the vast majority of his wealth, roughly 90%, toward charity. For example, every dollar earned from his 2008 photography book went to help survivors of the Sichuan earthquake. In a recent conversation with South Korea's Munhwa Broadcasting Corporation, the Hong Kong star confirmed he intends to leave his entire fortune, approximately 5.6 billion Hong Kong dollars, or around $700 million US dollars, to charitable causes after he passes away, as reported by The Guardian. He has repeated this pledge in several other recent Asian interviews. With characteristic humor, he once remarked, "It's not that I want to donate. It was my wife's decision. I didn't want to donate either. It's all my hard-earned money." He affectionately calls Jasmine his manager and jokes that she even controls his pocket money. Imagine how much brighter the world could be if more people shared Chow Yun-fat's outlook. At 69, he has begun speaking openly about growing older. He teases about cosmetic surgery but then says sincerely, "Everyone must die, and I don't mind getting wrinkles. I'm happy to play an old man. Rather than becoming afraid of aging, I've become fearless. If you don't die, it's weird." With a twinkle in his eye, he adds, "I don't regret anything. People make mistakes every day, and that's normal. The difference is in the size of the mistake and how we handle it." Though he makes fewer films these days, Chow still loves performing and has no intention of retiring. He remains committed to his promise of returning his wealth to society, explaining that the money is not truly his and he cannot take it with him when he goes. He wants instead to keep the vow he made to give back. If you found yourself in his position, would you also choose to pass on nearly everything to help others, or would you prefer to enjoy it personally? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Thank you so much for watching today. Feel free to explore the other videos here on the channel.